Waterwight, Book 1, Chapter 23. Celeste approached the fissure network with growing confidence. She liked what she'd done in the village. When she returned with Orville and Chimney, things would be different. She'd be a hero. People like Blanche, if there were others like her in the village, wouldn't be able to boss everyone around anymore, and they'd work together to discover how to stop the water from destroying what little was left of their world. Orville, I'm back. Help me find you, she relayed to her friend. Cold and dark, came his reply. He was barely audible. Très far down, in a crumbling crevice. Nick's time-stopping is wearing off. The cracks are everywhere, Orville. If you yell out, or if you can get Chimney to holler, I'll find you faster. She continued to fly over the miles of cracked earth, straining her ears for any sound, but heard nothing for many moments. Then, a call for help startled her. Yo, bird girl, a trembling voice called out. Over here. Celeste flew higher to take in more of her surroundings. The voice was close by, but sound echoed all around, and she couldn't trust her ears. Movement in a fissure to her front caught her attention, and soon she saw a most fearsome and marvelous sight. Save me, little dude, and I'll protect you forever, said the animal. He was the most glorious creature she'd ever seen, a 10-foot-long jaguar, his fur a kaleidoscope of ever-shifting colors that reminded her of a long-ago time when she would dip Easter eggs into tiny cups of dye. His tail hung below him into the black abyss, another body length of crazy colors. He was barely clinging to the steep wall of rock, his claw marks deep and long above him, his chiseled muscles quivering and near exhaustion. Without considering her own safety, Celeste descended into the fissure, grabbed the fur at the back of his neck with both hands, and pulled him from the wall. The tremendous weight of his struggling body was unexpected and pulled her down a bit, but she regained control quickly. Amazed again at her strength when in flight, she dragged the beautiful creature up and out of the dark space. She set him down far from the fissure's edge, but remained hovering out of reach above him. I'm hungry, but you're not even a snack, he said before dropping to the ground gracelessly. Come down. My life's yours now that I've lost everyone. He lowered his great whiskered chin onto his front paws. Celeste watched as the colors swirled around him and couldn't resist touching his fur again. Landing by his side, she ran her hand along his coat. It was even softer than the creamy silk dress her mother used to wear. I lost everyone too in the event, and if I don't move fast, I'll lose my new friends. I'm really sorry, but I need to leave. She took to the air. Wait, little dude, the jaguar hollered. Celeste turned back to him. Who's lost? I'll help you find them. She hesitated, wondering how the fatigued animal could help her, but he looked so alone and out of place on the foreign landscape below. She called to him, My friend Orville's a huge frog with wings and Chimney's a little... A frog and a boy? The jaguar interrupted. I saw them. My cubs, Storm and Starla, were running after the boy, and my mate Blossom was calling them back. Too late. Ground opened and took them all. I ran for them, but it opened under me. Hung on there forever, it seems, just about to give up and let go when you flew by. Where? Which opening? Orville's alive. I just heard him. At least 3 beyond the one you pulled me from. That way. He turned his chin south. Think you could lift me again? Let's go. She returned to the huge animal. I'm Paloma, she said, lifting him from the ground. And you're freaked out, he said as they passed over the first fissure. But you can call me Thunder. Celeste heard her friend's voice again. Hurry, you're near. It frightened her. He sounded panicked. On my way, Orville, she screamed into the stillness, thankful Nick's power was holding. That one. Thunder pointed his huge paw at the opening just beyond. I'm going in. Don't follow me. It's too dangerous. She set him down near the edge and saw him begin to pace. Orville lay on a ledge far beyond and below her, the glint of a wingtip revealing his position. Celeste was on the narrow ledge beside him in an instant. Your wing! She gasped, startled by the misalignment of his right appendage and frightened by the growing pool of blood beneath it. It was badly broken. The boy. Find him. He is far below. In his fear, he disappeared. I was foolish, très stupide, in bringing him this far out. Hang on, friend. I'll find him. Without further discussion, Celeste was airborne again. Chimney! She shouted just once before hearing a faraway, high-pitched squeak. He was alive and much farther down into the abyss. Talk to me, buddy, so I can find you. Scared, was all the boy could muster, but it was all Celeste needed to find him huddled against a wall of earth on a ledge even narrower than the one on which Orville clung. She could barely see him behind 2 colorful balls of fur clinging to his chest. I think I broke my leg. Celeste did a quick examination of the boy's left leg. It wasn't as bad as Orville's wing, but it was swollen and misaligned. The 2 cubs eyed her, but didn't move from the boy. I'm going to take you on a little ride now, okay? So hold on to those little guys real tight, and I'll get you out of here. A ride like Orville gave me? He didn't seem surprised his new savior could fly, and it became clear to Celeste why they were so far away from the village. Yep, she said, helping him onto one foot. She could see his face and arms were scraped from the fall, his face a mess of tears, blood, and dirt. She grabbed him around the waist and launched from the edge, her face turned upward toward the small patch of sky above them. The cubs yowled, and the sound echoed up the rocky walls. From high above, Thunder's tremendous roar echoed back. And then the earth shook. Enormous chunks of stone broke from the walls and plunged into the dank enclosure as Celeste flew upward, and they all could hear echoes of splashing below. The smell of rotten eggs grew stronger as each stone crashed into the reeking water. The rumbling grew louder, and the frightened child couldn't control his squeaky outbursts as he clung too tightly to the terrified cubs. They passed Orville on the way out. Orville, I'm sorry, Chimney yelled as they passed him. Hurry, Thunder, watch the boy, Celeste called to the prancing jaguar below when they finally cleared the lip of the fissure. By the time Celeste set down her clinging cargo, Thunder was already by her side. Be right back, she told Chimney before returning to where Orville lay precariously on what remained of his ledge. Rescuing Orville would be more difficult, not only because of his unwieldy shape, but because she didn't want to injure his wing anymore. He could tell what she was thinking. Let me grasp your ankles like you once did mine. We can do this. A stronger tremor sent dirt and stones down on them from above, and Celeste saw the walls closing in. Rapidement! He shouted, grabbing her ankles, and soon they launched from the crumbling ledge. Another massive section of the cavern wall split and dropped as Celeste struggled to escape, and in an aggressive maneuver to avoid a falling boulder, she flinched. Weak from pain and blood loss, Orville lost his grip. No! Celeste screamed when he released her. He was falling fast. Fearing the worst, she descended after him, but unlike her uncontrolled plunge from the crevice above Old Man Massive, this time she was in total control. "Orville!" she screamed, spotting him finally and seeing his eyes begin to fade. Falling backward endlessly, Orville glanced up to see Celeste approaching and weakly extended an arm. "Got you!" She grabbed hold of him and slowed to a stop on a jutting slab just below them. When she looked up, she couldn't see the opening above. "There's only one way out, Orville. Are you ready?" She hoped there would be an opening when they reached the top. The putrid air choked them. "I can help with my left wing." Celeste wasn't about to argue. Celeste wasn't about to argue. Her friend had little strength left, and they needed to get to the surface fast. "Hang on, friend," she instructed. "Let's go." The rumbling grew more intense as the two rose from the hellish place. Neither of them needed to share their fears aloud. The walls were growing closer by the moment, even as they continued to crumble. Then she saw it, a tiny opening through which rays of setting sunlight illuminated the dark walls. Stones and gravel struck them with increasing frequency, but if she faltered, they wouldn't survive. "A little farther," she shouted above the din of the trembling earth, and they were out. Chimney was quivering when they reached him. I thought, the boy stammered. "I know, buddy, but we're back now. Let's get out of here, and fast." "But how?" he asked. A thundering reverberation shook the survivors, knocking Celeste over, and with a crash, fissures all around them closed back together, leaving ugly, ragged scars for as far as they could see. And then all was silent. That ends chapter 23 of book 1.